Hey guys, Camper15 back at another video for you guys, back with another episode review of Kaguya Sama. Now, it's been a while since I have talked about Kaguya Sama on the channel, just strictly from the standpoint, there hasn't been nothing. We haven't gotten nothing, and this was like the first new content we got in for the anime, and hey, it's a nice, solid 2 episode special type of thing. And yeah, and apparently the next thing we get of Kaguya-sama will be it, because we got teased at the end of the second episode special that there is going to be quote unquote titled Kaguya-sama Love is War, the final chapter. Now, apparently this has actually created some interesting debates and I guess how some fans feel about the situation. So before I kind of talk about some of the points in the episode, there's kind of a huge thing going on. So apparently, or no, not apparently, and it's confirmed that the final chapter, the next thing will kind of, I guess, kind of be like a movie or something like that, or something, right? Some sort of special, right? And it's gonna end off the series. And actually, the anime is actually going to have an anime original ending. So apparently, it looks like it's not going to adapt the manga's ending. It's going to adapt the original. It's going to have an original anime ending, right? So the author, named Aki, which I actually, when I did some more research and looked into it, this person is actually the author, of Oshinoko, another series that I am definitely reviewing on the channel as of now. But the thing we find out is, with this special, and then even with the final chapter, they basically skipped over from what people have been saying over like damn near 70 amount of chapters, throughout the entire series. Now, also, what I also did here, just looking at other people's reviews and looking at comments and things like that, apparently the manga ending, again, like typical manga people, I feel like I might need to make a video about this shit, because I know it's actually blowing up in Black Clover right now. And I know I haven't reviewed Black Clover, the manga, in a very long time for the chat, in terms of a manga chapter, right? But maybe I might just need to make a video talking about how bad the manga community is when it comes to like these fucking endings of these series, and the fact that for some of these people, they get to the end of these fan favorite series and these endings don't seem satisfying, but then when you turn it around and you get the anime adaptation of said series and they get to the ending, people always come out and say, oh, actually that wasn't actually that bad of an ending. I don't know why the manga people were complaining about it. So I'm guessing, according to some people for the manga ending of Kaguya-sama Love is War, some people did not like the ending of how I guess they concluded the series. But look, man, at this point, it seems like it's more of a manga community issue and a more of a modern day manga community issue, because it seems like every manga that's been ending as of late, the authors end it, and then these people read the ending, and then they get all pissed off and say, this was a terrible ending, this story's completely ruined. Like, I think in the last few years, My Hero Academia, the manga, when that ended, people hated the freaking ending of the manga, and you got the ending a few weeks ago for the anime, and anime fans were actually happy with and content with the ending. It made sense, but you took to the manga community, and the manga people were like, what the hell, this makes no sense, this is some bullshit, I haven't seen anything to do with the Black Clover chapters as of late, so I don't know if these next few chapters are going to actually end off the story completely, but apparently through leaks, people hate the end. I guess people hate the ending and how things were ended in Black Clover. I'll read the manga, and I'll see what my thoughts are on that. I haven't seen all of JJK because I'm an anime only with JJK, but people didn't like the ending to JJK. People didn't like the ending to Attack on Titan. And some of these series, speaking of Aki, people didn't like Oshinoko's ending. Which, again, as the more I watch, I'm going to be very intrigued to see you know, what people were complaining about when it came to that ending, right? And now that we know, like, Kaguya Sama is done by Aki, and Aki has come out and said, like, hey, this is the reason why I'm doing this and everything. You have to wonder, maybe they do an anime original ending for Oshinoko. I don't know. Maybe they do that. But regardless, when if that happens, it happens, right? But I just referenced like maybe 4 or 5 series that probably ended, and people did not like the endings to it. And some of those endings ended up actually getting like extended endings, or maybe, in terms of like a different ending to make people more, or to make the community more happy, because of course you get on social media, and once somebody doesn't like it, it just gets a whole party to not like it, and then these idiots on Twitter, or social media, start tweeting at the author saying "fuck you," yada yada yada. You ruined the series for me because you suck. You didn't land the ending, and they give these freaking authors on grief and, just harassment on social media because they don't like the ending or how, like, things are playing out. And that's kind of what's going on kind of now. Some people, there's a pretty large community of people, are really not a large community of people, but there's a good chunk of people who I'm guessing have been invested in Kaguya Sama Love is War, who read the manga, who are absolutely shocked and upset that they're basically skipping all this content and they're just going to give us an anime ending like the way that they're doing. And the way they kind of explain, or the way Aki kind of explained it, was in a way as like, they talked about 4 years ago, they talked about doing a season 4, but some of the stuff I guess that came up, the author just felt like it's probably not in the best interest for the anime staff to work on. It's just something that may just be too hard for them to do. So, the author is like, you know what? Let's change some things up. Let's do some things here, and, let's end some things a little bit better. One, maybe to please the manga fans who are watching the series, to maybe get a better resolution to make them happy, and two, maybe just make it easier on the staff so they don't work as hard. Now, look, I will say I am kind of disappointed on the fact that, some of this, or realistically, this cut content will probably never be adapted into an anime, and I'm guessing, they're, cutting out like maybe 3 or 4 arcs that a lot of people said, man, these arcs are really good, and it sucks that they're not adapting them. So, maybe, once I see this final chapter thing, I'll probably go pick up where the manga left off from season 3 after the confession thing, and I guess read those arcs that they missed out on, or maybe just watch a video summarizing them, right? But it's understandable to be disappointed and a little bit upset by this, because it's like, hey, maybe you read through the manga and you love this scene and you're just like, oh man, I can't wait to see this scene adapted into an anime. It's gonna be great, and you only find out like it's not gonna be adapted into it, right? So it definitely does suck, but I think, if you're disappointed by that and it's like, okay, I'll still check out this final chapter, see what this got to offer, right? But if you're like the person that's upset by this and you're tweeting at the author and stuff like that, giving them hateful comments saying, why are you doing this and stuff like that, look, you're not being a good person, and maybe you were just never a fan of the series to begin with, right? But again, maybe this just goes back to the track and the fact maybe the author has PTSD, and maybe the author is like, I don't want to have a complete anime adaptation of my series, and then lo and behold, maybe people hate the ending, the initial ending I had, and stuff like that. And maybe he didn't want that blowback, right? If the guy is the author of Oshinoko, he clearly got a lot of blowback, but I don't know how the Japanese people feel about the ending to some of these series. It's mostly, obviously, people in the West of how they feel. So it's mostly people from the West saying that, well, honestly, I'm the opinion, screw what the people of the West. Yeah, we want a good story and a nice conclusion, but like your target audience is mostly Japanese people. But then, and anywhere else around the world, especially like the Western United States, that's just added on people, added on fans, added on merchandise. But maybe he had PTSD not only from the ending of Kaguya Sama, where I guess people didn't like it. Maybe he had PTSD from Oshinoko's ending and how people may not like that. And people, just don't like it. And for people to go out there and say like, "Oh, he's a trash author. This dude's trash." Yada yada yada. Well, guess what? Maybe he's not the best of the best, but he's still, I guess, a good enough author. He still hit it big. He definitely made a lot of money writing out two very popular series in Kaguya Sama Love is War and Oshinoko. And guess what? You're the ones, the people that keep filling in his pocketbook. So throughout the entire journey, you were going through the series, or both series. So for people to go out there and discredit the guy and say, "Oh, he's a terrible author," like just because the ending may have not landed for you, that's the case, right? Like I know, like for example, I just got done doing like live streams of the last Zenless Zone Zero 2 season 2 chapter. And there are people out there, when I looked over my timeline, that apparently I thought the climax of season 2 was good. I thought the whole season of season 2 was pretty good. But, people in the gaming community who played through Zenless Zone Zero did not like it. They did not like the ending to season 2. They did not like the whole season 2 plotline. But I think they just felt like that because they have like this like, I guess in the Hoyo games, they just don't like when these games go to like some sort of Chinese or feudal Japan region because then people get upset by that. But, whatever. But again, like I said, you can't please everybody. Everybody's entitled to feel how they want to feel because that's their opinion. But honestly, again, it really goes to show me like the manga community really truly doesn't understand the series that they read when they get to the ending, and maybe there's like a bigger meaning, and maybe the author, and maybe that's kind of the whole instance where these authors just got to come out and announce, "Hey, this is why I ended the series the way it did," and give the actual meaning, and maybe that might convince people. But it really goes to show you how stupid the manga community is if you're hating on these endings for these series. But then when you flip it over to the anime community for these anime only peoples, they get to the endings of these series, they see the ending, they're like, "Oh, that's actually a cool ending. That's good." It really exposes like how idiotic these people in the manga community are, and realistically, also at the same time, it's because these people in the manga community, they always do these predictions or these hypotheses of what may happen, but when they don't get what happens, which is their theories, if they don't get their theories hitting, well then they're gonna get upset by that and they're like, "Oh, you didn't do the theory that I want because you want to try to guess at how the series is going to end, and if you don't guess right, you're going to trash it because, oh, it's not how I would have done it." Well, you're not the author, and I say it kind of again. If you want to go be a freaking manga author, go be a manga author. Because these people live under these intense stress situations. You don't know. Maybe there's reasons why they end the series maybe abrupt. Maybe there's reasons why they end the series the way they do. Whether that's a deeper meaning or maybe it's because of certain stuff. Again, I'll get into it in the Black Clover whenever I do that video after I see the final chapters for that, right? Because with Tabata, one of the main reasons is health. And maybe he ended the series prematurely like that. Maybe he wrapped everything up the way that I guess people did not like the way they wrapped it up is because simple. He probably wanted to attend to his family's health. So you can call me a shill in defending these authors and these endings. Personally, I take the side of the other authors because I know what these people do. And personally, again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but in the situation of how these mangas end, I'm not going to really give these valid people actually any validity to their statements because every time I turn around, we get the anime coming around, and then when the anime ends, which adapts the same exact shit they get from the manga, "Oh, that actually wasn't bad." And the anime community understands what the ending was and is okay with this. But you have the manga community who bitches on a weekly basis about bullshit. But that's just the manga community. The manga community, again, are a bunch of elitists that think they're, "I'm smarter than thou and I can predict how the series is going to end." And then when you don't get that, oh, you trash the freaking series because it's not the type of ending you want. But, all right, I'm just pointing that out. That's just me saying that, So, hey, if you're a manga fan, I'm sorry, but I'm just being honest. And if you're one of those people that do that shit, well, I'm sorry if that hurts you. If you don't like me saying that, well, you can hit the unsubscribe button and you can not watch any more videos on the channel. But, again, like I said, those type of people, I think they're fickle. They don't know what they're talking about because they don't know what they want in the series, because all they do is on a weekly basis, after they read the chapter, they come up, go to these other YouTube channels, listen to what they talk about on the channels, and maybe get their predictions, and then they form a hypothesis of what may potentially happen. And then when the author doesn't do what they do, they trash it, or they say, oh, this chapter's bad, or this ending is terrible, it ruins the series. Well, then where the hell were you? Why weren't you saying this from the jump then? So, all right, okay. Anyways, we got 2 nice episodes, which was pretty cool, pretty funny. I think obviously the highlight out of these past 2 episodes were that Shirogane and Kaguya, they ended up actually doing the deed. Shockingly enough, which is kind of crazy, that they did that and they were only high schoolers. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get in the heat of the moment and things like that. Okay, so I think one of the funny parts of the first episode was Chika was trying to do a prank and everything on Kaguya, and like one of the pranks was like, oh, I'm gonna pretend like oh, well, president, we're dating. And obviously Shirogane is like, no, I cannot do that, she's going to kill me, which then leads to Ishigami showing up, and they play the prank on Miko where Chika pretends to be Ishigami's boyfriend or girlfriend, and Miko's like, why would you do that to yourself, are you stupid? Which was absolutely hilarious, right? So they do that, and then Kaguya walks in, and then she's like, "Oh, we actually are dating," and it shocks them. They're like, "Huh, nani, nani, nani," which was absolutely hilarious, right? Because you see Chika, she's like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on here?" Right? What? And then she's like, "Oh, it's just a prank," but in reality, she told Shirogane, like, "I just wanted to see how they all reacted," right? Which was actually pretty interesting, because it's like, oh, so they didn't tell them that they were dating. Because I thought, like, after that moment where they shared the kiss and they basically said that they wanted to be together, I thought, like, oh, she would have told them. No, they've been keeping the relationship a secret, and the only person up until this point that knew was Hayasaka. So that was the only person that knew. I think the other funny moment in the episode was when they were calling each other, right? Because, like, dude, listen, I know when I was in college, I talked with one of my boys and we talked for hours, bro. But these people, these two were talking for these people talk for over 5 hours straight, bro, as they're trying to go to sleep. And I'm just like, dude, what the hell? And they're talking under their futon or their beds and everything, their bed covers. So that was the funny part. And then after, she obviously is knocked out, Shirogane calls her by her first name and says goodnight, right? She ended up waking up and hearing that, so that was funny to see her flustered reaction. And then it was even more funnier that apparently, as he's about to go to sleep, Shirogane he sees that Kei and then his dad were actually listening in on the conversation. They're like, wait, what? You're dating that? And they were absolutely floored that they were dating, right? And I think the funniest part too was the father making a fucking YouTube channel, right? And I think I think the father was just talking about I don't know. It seems like he was like having a Q&A type of thing, or at the same time he was teaching these people on these things, like, oh, what he was doing and stuff like that. But then at the same time, answering people's Q&As. And at the same time, these people are leaving this man like super chats and giving him like super chats of crazy money, right? So then Kei is telling Shirogane, like, hey, watch this. She walks in the background, right? Just to get some water or something. And then she walks away. She pulls up her phone and then she shows her brother, bro. She's like, look at all these people doing these donations. And just an influx of people are just donating in crazy amounts of cash or crazy amounts of super chats because they're like, oh my God, your daughter is hot. Oh my God, your daughter's so cute. Can I date your daughter? And I'm just like, yes, that is 100% true. That is anime, that is internet culture or internet community right there. They see a chick, and they don't give a crap. They will drop the money like as if it's an OnlyFans. Mind you, these are probably like grown-ass men, probably slobs, just donating and looking at that, like, oh, I want to date that girl. And I think the funnier part is the father's not even acknowledging those comments. He's just getting he's just getting the super chats, and they're just like, and the funny part too is Kay is like, I should feel bad about this, but to be honest, it's like it's not too bad. So then she ends up booting and doing a live stream on her father's channel, right? And then immediately, she's like, hey guys, look, you don't need to I don't need any money. I don't need any of that. You don't need to drop no super chats. And then next thing you know, you have people bing, 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 bing. And super chats are just flooding the comment section. And they're giving her money. And she's like, you said don't do it and everything. And she's like, I guess you could say almost damn near giving the audience, like she's getting up close to the camera. It's like she's getting like almost God OnlyFans boob shots or something like that. But you get my point. Like, to these people, they think she's cute, and they're keep like boom, 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 giving her super chats. And then we find out basically, due to the super chats, they were able to make off with the debt, right? That they were obviously in place, and they actually ended up upgrading to like a nice little apartment condo, right? Because of this. And this dude ended up becoming a famous YouTuber, a big time YouTuber. Like, literally, he started the YouTube channel, and like with less than a week, this dude got 50K subscribers. Like, I wish I could have that. Like, I know right now I'm like at 941, so thank you guys for supporting, but holy shit. I'm just like, fuck, overnight? And these dudes already got monetized channel, already getting super chats from people. I don't know how he did it. I think that was probably the funniest part of this entire 2-episode special type of thing, was this man had his own YouTube channel, and within like a week or a few days, man got 50K subscribers, and these people are already donating super chats. And I guarantee you, the only reason why half the people are subscribers, we got to see if that daughter of his walks by. My God, bro. So then the second episode mostly is about Kaguya and Shirogane, and it's kind of, he brings her over to her house, they kind of hang out a bit, but then they're also freaking out because she's staying over the night, and they're afraid about going all the way. And we do find out they actually do go all the way. Now, before it, she goes in, she sleeps in his bed, and eventually he turns over, and his hormones, his instincts take over, and he starts making out with Kaguya, to the point, like, he starts kissing her on not only the lips, then the cheek, then the neck, right? And then it's getting to the point, like, oh, he's about to, like, get a little frisky, right? And eventually they stop for a bit because Shirogane realized, oh shit, I need to stop. She's clearly afraid. And they do have a talk about it, and he's basically like, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but, look, we don't need to rush into things, just let me know if you're ready to do it, we're good to do it, right? And the reason why she's okay, she was alright ready to rush into things, is because she has this fear, like, she's never going to see the president again once he moves out of the country to go to school in the United States. And she's afraid, like, oh, well, what if you find somebody out there that you love, which is crazy, because it's like, well, dog, why would he do that? Like, and he does tell her, like, no, I'm gonna love you. I chose you. Like, there's nothing that I would do to do anything. And he does tell her, like, look, just because I'm gonna be away doesn't mean it's like I'm not gonna be coming back every now and then and, visiting and everything. Of course, when I come back, like, I'm gonna visit and say hello and see if you're doing well, everything. And he basically tells her, like, hey, look, just let me know when you're ready. If you're ready to do it, just let me know, and we can go all the way. And then it ends with them basically kissing, and then both saying I love you, kissing, I love you, kissing, I love you, kissing, I love you. And next thing you know, overnight, they're basically in the bed, and Kaguya's up, and she's like, oh shit, we just did this, right? So then she ended up telling Hayasuka about their night together, and Hayasuka is just like, oh my goodness, and she's absolutely shocked that they did this, but at the same time she's also happy because it's like, well, now Kaguya's actually now learning to become a normal girl, right? And then it leads into the last bit where it's the last day for Shirogane in Japan before he has to leave. So Kaguya oversleeps. So she's trying to rush to the airport to say her goodbyes, while everyone else says their goodbyes. Now, in this discussion with Hayasaka, she did say that, "Hey, I'm just gonna reveal to everyone that we're dating." So everyone here, you know, realizes, the school realizes that they were clearly an item, right? So that was the thing, and it was a nice emotional scene too, because you do get the moments with the student council members of Chika, Ishigami, and Miko all saying these emotional goodbyes, of saying like, you've done so much for me. Like Chika says, like, I looked at you like a son, which okay. And then Miko is like, well, it's like you were like a older brother to me. I really respected you, and I'm gonna take what you taught me, everything. And then Ishigami was like, you helped me a lot. If you need something, let me know and everything. I'm like, okay, see these people, it's a great moment. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be a great damn moment, right? And then eventually she doesn't get there on time when he leaves. She's like, where's president? And they're like, he left already. And this girl literally gets on, I guess, on a freaking charter plane and fucking flies to San Francisco just to say goodbye. And okay, I'm just like, well, then you could have done that from the start. And then she talks about like, well, you know what? Maybe I can come see you on the weekends. I can fly in on Friday after school's over and then come back and make sure I get back on, by Sunday night so I can go and restart the whole operation again. I'm like, you're crazy. So, but they ended up finding a workaround, and essentially they have I guess, because it's when it's nighttime over there, right? In the States, obviously, it's daytime over there. It's like probably the morning or something like that, right? So literally they hopped on a Zoom call and they display him on the big TV, and that's how they're talking to him. And it's funny because the other members like, so he did this emotional goodbye for nothing. Well, okay. So yeah. And in the meantime, as we're getting through all these moments, you just see an adult version of Kaguya just looking through all these memories of these photos through their memory book, as she's breaking them down one by one, right? And then you have it to where an older Miyuki Shirogane shows up. I'm guessing they're living in the same condo. I don't know if they're married, or if they're just dating. I didn't see any ring on their fingers, so they're more than likely just still dating. They're just living with each other as adults, and it seems like he more than likely has a good paying job, which is why he's living in this nice ass like condo. And then again, she's rich as hell herself, so it makes sense, like, they'd be living in some sort of condo. And basically they just look over the memory books and just saying like how long time has changed, but at the same time how much things stay the same, of how much they love each other. And yeah, so apparently this original anime ending is actually going to be based on their adult life, which is pretty cool. So we're going to actually not only see Shirogane and Kaguya's adult life, and maybe this is when we're going to eventually probably see him propose to her and they get married to end off the series, right? But we're going to probably see an adult Ishigami, adult Chika, and adult Miko. Kaguya did also say that Kei did come by, so we did not see what Kei looks like older now. So I take it Kei more than likely is either like finishing up high school or just now going into college, more than likely. So that's the thing. And I guess she went to stop by the place, but she only went to go see Kaguya, so not theirs. So we'll see. But I'm actually intrigued to see this, because typically some stories, when they end, they don't really end, they end, especially these romance stories, when like it's high schoolers, they typically end after, they end once the couple gets together, they realize they love each other, and then maybe you have like that final episode where, or you typically have that final episode where You know, you get kind of some nice little endings and everything, and you kind of get that moment. It's like, don't worry, we'll be together forever, right? And it's always, you can imply like they're eventually going to get married and have a family and everything. But here with this situation, we're seeing them as adults, so we're definitely going to potentially maybe see them propose, or Alicia or Gane propose, and maybe get them, see them get married. Or maybe, you know, at some point, like maybe they end up having a kid. Maybe we cut, you know, just before the ending of the series or the show or that special, right? You know, we see their kid, their son or their daughter, talking about like, hey, mom, you know, how did you fall in love with dad? Or dad, how did you fall in love with mom, or something like that, which would be pretty cool. And then maybe we'll also see like, hey, are the other characters in other relationships? Did Ishigami hook up with Tsubame? Because we ended up finding out like even after she left, right? Even after she graduated school, Ishigami and her still kept in contact. So maybe they are actually an item. I don't know. You know, maybe they are dating. We'll see if Miko is anything special, and we'll see if Chica's still the same old fucking Chica. Um, that is, which would be hilarious, right? But overall, these two specials were great. I enjoyed my time with this. It was definitely funny and everything, and it's just great to be back in the Kaguya Sama just universe, because it's just a funny, fun, hilarious universe with this just romance. So I'm definitely intrigued to see where this final chapter is going to go and how this ending is going to go. And it's only going to make me, or enhance me, to want to go check out the manga and see these chapters that are not going to be adapted, and see how the ending for the manga was compared to that of the anime. So we'll see. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great rest of your day or your night, or whenever you're checking out this video. And hopefully you guys have a great and happy New Year's Eve. Stay safe out there tonight. And yeah, but look, man, 2026 starting tomorrow, man. It's been one hell of a freaking year. A lot of accomplishments, a lot of things made. Man, fun time. Absolutely fun time. And I definitely can't wait for 2026, because it's going to be even better. Because I know all these animes that I got to review, bro. Oh, brother. They're going to be kicking my fucking ass. Anyways, guys, again, have a great and safe New Year's Eve. And also have a great and safe New Year's Day as well. But till then, guys, catch you guys in the next video. I will see you guys later. Till then, guys, peace.